Max.
Evening all. This time I've got a record mirror and we've jumped on a few years. We're jumping on to August 1977. So now I wasn't an 11-year-old, I was now a 17-year-old punk rocker. And so this will be interesting because I'm dipping in right out of the blue. I've not had a look, we'll just see what happens. On the cover we've got the Men in Black, the Stranglers. And it tells me that the Sex Pistols album is reviewed here. Inside, Ramones, Smokey Robinson, Punks Go Export, but it says right at the top, Rollers in colour, so I'm guessing there's going to be a basic Rollers poster in the middle. Let's have a look. Again, let's go on to the first page, and as always, it's the charts. The UK singles. Number 1 was I Feel Love by Donna Summer. So say all the punks hated disco, but they didn't really. They loved this. Who can not love I Feel Love? Let's see, there's not a lot of punk in there, is there? Even though we're up in August of 1977, there's not a lot of punk. Top 10 is Donna Summer, Brotherhood of Man, Shiwaddy Waddy, The Floaters, Boney M, Rita Coolidge, Ra Band, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, The Commodores, and Smold, whoever they are. We carry on down. We got Pistols with Pretty Vacant at 12. Stranglers with Something Better Change Straighten Out at 13. And then one or two others scattered throughout. The Jam, Mink DeVille, The Rods, Do Anything You Want to Do, Straighten at 39. Swallow My Pride by the Ramones at 43. But the charts weren't rammed full of punk, no matter what anybody thinks. Album charts, Going for the One by Yes was number 1, and that just sums it up, doesn't it? Prog rock at number 1, at the peak of punk. First punk album we come to there is The Stranglers at number 8. And then we've got, well, there weren't many punk albums at this point, you've got to remember that. We've got to go all the way down to The Jam at number 30, Within the City. Some good albums in there, mind. Pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. The news page. We've got a picture of Lemmy, David Essex and Noddy Holder. Swallow This. Sad news from Birmingham band The Killjoys. Cuddly Lee Burton replaces Trevor Hadley on drums, as the latter has been sent to Borstal after a GBH charge. The Killjoys, of course, was Kevin Rowland's, from Dexy's Midnight Runners, first band. No mention of him there, though. Next page, here's the news page. Iggy Pop tour dates. David Bowie to tour later. Of course, Bowie played keyboards for Iggy on that tour. The Damned go to Lou. The Damned have added a new guitarist called Lou to their lineup. That's Lou Edmonds, who had been a second division punk band called The Edge before that. And of course now is a much revered, I suppose you've got to call him a session guitarist, but who'd have known then? Here's an interesting one. The lineup for Peter Gabriel's autumn tour has been announced and contains only one member of the band he used earlier this year. Says the new band is led by Mick Ronson on guitar. Well, that never happened, did it? That's interesting. I didn't even know he had mooted to play with him, but it certainly never happened. American new wave band Mink DeVille are to play in Britain. I went to that tour. Stranglers' new LP and tour. Here we go. The next page, we've got a full-page interview with Jet Black from the Stranglers, who of course was virtually a pensioner then. And then this is what I can never understand with the music papers. You've got a full-page ad here, which must have cost a fortune. The new single from Trickster, If That's the Way the Feeling Takes You. Who the hell were Trickster? And how could they afford a full-page ad? They were on Jet Records, marketed by United Artists. I guess that's where the money came from. Trickster? Off-centre, ramming it home. Ramones' Tommy Erdely raps to David Brown from Somewhere on the Other Side of the Puddle. That'll be an interesting one to have a read of. Singles. Let's have a look, see what punk we've got in here. Elvis Costello, Red Shoes. I'm saying punk, things that were called punk then. The shops I used to go in, I used to go into Revolver Records in Bristol, walk up to the counter and say, what new punk have you got? And I'd be given Ian Dury, Tom Petty, various pub rockers, but it was punk to my young eyes. So we've got Elvis Costello, Tom Petty, American Girl. Moving on down through a lot of things that weren't punk. Strife, heavy rock band. They were a great band, Strife. Three-piece hard rock band. One of the best touring bands at the time. Radio Stars. Oh, going on through. Not lots of punk being reviewed here. It's got the ad tucked away at the bottom. Third from bottom. The Adverts, Gary Gilmore's Eyes. One of the big punk hits of the year. Third from the bottom in the singles reviews. And it gets a 2-word review. Extremely tedious. Well, I'm sorry, I have to disagree there. That is one of the absolute greats. Who was this anyway? Robin Smith? You're a twat. Punk Rock Survey. Will success buy an end to the bands? Be interesting to have a little read of that, but we can't go into that. Albums, Linda Ronstadt, Blue, The Movies, Manfred Mann, Ry Cooder, Soft Machine. And then we get another load of ... Forget everything that's gone before. You can't compare anything with the new Sex Pistols album. So there we go. The first review of Nevermind the Bollocks. I could have a little go through that and tell you what it says, but again, we've not got time. And here, as was expected, is the Bay City Rollers poster. So we're all in a punk and we were still getting a Rollers thrown at us. Then we got the mailbox. Oh, I agree with Tony Blackburn. Well, I'm not sure many would, but there we go. Stavros Stanin-Janis of Piccadilly Plaza comes up with a letter that simply says, Piccadilly Radio is the centre of the universe. Really? Full page ad for Boney M. Then we got the gigs page. Lots of punk in that. You can it's virtually all punk. Small clubs, punk bands from the tiniest to the biggest. Tumbling dice, you win some, you lose some. This is a review, which would be really interesting to go through, of the Mont de Marsan Punk Festival in France. Tumbling dice, you win some, you lose a lot, especially at a disastrous French punk festival. Disastrous it might well have been, but it's the stuff of legend. And, well, I'm sure most of you know about it, but bands that played there were The Jam played, The Boys played. It's just unbelievable. Ian Curtis from Joy Division was there, and that was what turned him on to the new music. It's just a... God, if many things. People could say you want to be at Woodstock, you want to be at Isle of Wight Festival. Mont de Marsan might well have been a disaster, but wouldn't you just love to be there? Fabulous stuff. Soul page, disco page, items for sale, including a personal column, which we'll just take one at random. David, age 20, sinks easy-going girl for relationship. London area. Photo, question mark. I wonder what David's doing now. Then we go on to a little question and answers with Barry Masters from Eddie and the Hot Rods, sadly passed away fairly recently. And on to the last page with a full page ad for Maxine Nightingale, which again was probably a complete waste of money. So, again, until the next time.
Mark Talks Max. Mark Talks Max. Mark Talks Max. Mark Talks Max.